Hi everyone, today you join me at a beautiful nature reserve that's equidistant between the cities of Bristol and Bath. It's in the very beating heart of the Chew Valley, just north of the Mendip Hills. It's a site that used to be a medieval deer park, and now it's transformed into a thriving nature reserve managed by Avon Wildlife Trust, as well as having an inspiring education centre and a stunning wedding venue. And hopefully it's going to be the place where I find a lot of exciting wildlife today. So come with me and let's see what we can find. Let's go. One thing I love about Folly Farm is that although there's some like longer hilly routes that you can do around the reserve, get some really nice views, there's also an accessible trail as well. So a small loop through the woodland that I'm walking now that's completely flat, so no matter what your accessibility needs are, you can still come to a site like this and enjoy nature. This section of long grass here we used to nickname the Barn Owl Corridor, because it'd be full of voles and mice and things that barn owls would just love to feed on. And I have actually seen barn owls here at Folly Farm maybe 2 or 3 times. Once when I was leading a corporate group, and this was a group of people that used to work in a bank or something, and most of them had never seen a wild owl before. So it's just fantastic to be able to bring a group of people like that out into nature at a place like Folly Farm and show them a animal as magic and as mystical as a barn owl. Really cool to share moments like that with others. And although I'm probably not going to see any barn owls at 3 PM on a sunny summer's afternoon, it is a buzz with life. Loads of butterflies, a couple of dragonflies as well at the moment. This grassland that I'm walking through now is pretty special. The first thing you notice when you walk through is that it's covered in all these like grassy mounds, these little hills, and those are actually ant hills, so like old ants' nests, and that's a sign that the land here hasn't been ploughed or dug up for many years, which is part of the reason that the grasslands and the meadows and the wildflowers here at Folly Farm are so special. And in fact, some of the grasslands are designated SSSIs, which stands for Site of Special Scientific Interest. And as you walk through, you can really feel why there's so many bees, so many butterflies around. I'm hopefully going to try and find some marbled whites today. They're one of my favourite butterflies. They're that lovely black and white pattern, but like a chessboard, really striking butterfly. And on a gorgeous sunny day like today, hopefully there's going to be plenty of them about. So I'm not brilliant at my flowers, but I believe this is Betony. Really interesting flowers. They're like long tubes, long pinky purple tubes, which just looks so odd. But flowers like this and knapweed and scabious, the yellows as well, like the bird's foot trefoil and the ragwort, just make the landscape so beautiful at this time of year. The GoPro is probably not going to do it justice, but look at this stunning view. Absolutely incredible. That's Chew Valley Lake over there. Another great birding spot that I'll probably have to do a video on. The Mendip Ridge, the start of the Mendip Hills just to the left. Absolutely stunning view. This yellow flower that you can see pretty much covering this whole area behind me here is ragwort, and ragwort gets demonized as being a bit of a weed, and that's because if it gets chopped up and cut into hay and then fed to livestock, especially ponies, they can get quite ill because it is quite a poisonous plant if it's ingested. However, most livestock and horses are quite sensible. They know what makes them ill. So even though Folly Farm is grazed by 6 Exmoor ponies, you can see they've just left the ragwort. They're not going to touch it. So although it does get a lot of bad press and people do spend a lot of time pulling ragwort out of fields if they're going to be cut for hay, if it's just going to be grazed naturally, livestock will just leave it. And it's a really important plant for loads of different species of pollinator, in particular the cinnabar moth, which is this really nice orange and black caterpillar that will feed on the ragwort, which makes themselves poisonous, and that colouring is a warning to other animals: don't eat me because I'm poisonous. And that will hatch out into the cinnabar moth, which is this lovely day-flying red and black moth. I've seen quite a few butterflies so far: meadow brown, ringlet, gatekeeper, and I think a small skipper. It's also been extremely quiet on the bird front. I think because it's just so hot, everything's sort of staying hunkered down a little bit. I was expecting to see some buzzards soaring on the thermals, but no sign of those yet either. At the moment, I've just heard goldfinches, magpies, wood pigeon, some calling blackcaps, and a laughing green woodpecker. But in terms of actually seeing birds, it's been very quiet. And I don't blame them. It's starting to get roasting, really, really hot. The briefest raven flyby there. Hearing a few of them calling about. Folly Farm is also grazed by 6 Exmoor ponies, and they're really good. They're really hardy. They can handle like the muddy hills, and they get in amongst the scrub and eat all that woody vegetation back, allowing more space for the wildflowers to grow and the grasslands to spread. I haven't seen them yet, but they're here somewhere. I'd like to get some footage of some butterflies like feeding on flowers, but they so don't stay still for long. They're so flighty. Anytime I put the tripod down, they're gone. Lovely cool oak tree here, providing some much needed shade. Thank you, tree. Even after I did a bit in my last video, putting on sunscreen, I forgot to bring any extra with me. Idiot! And it's so hot now. I'm gonna have to try and shelter in the woods. It is eerily quiet in the woods. Everything just keeping chill, trying to stay cool. After cooling off in the woods, I headed to another brilliant viewpoint that Folly Farm has to offer. This one is known as Round Hill, and it offers spectacular panoramic views all across the surrounding landscape. This is the view from the top of Round Hill, Chew Valley Lake, the Mendips, and then a whole 180 view out across the beautiful Chew Valley. I spent a moment enjoying the views from Round Hill, still hoping to spot a soaring buzzard or possibly a hovering kestrel. However, I didn't see anything apart from a few flapping butterflies that I was trying to photograph here, and it was now just that hot I couldn't stay here for too long, so I headed back to the woods hoping to track down some of the site's Exmoor ponies. Two roe deer just ran down the stream just here. It's nice to see wildlife using the shelter of the wood. I've done a full lap of the site and still no sign of any of the Exmoor ponies. They're probably just hiding away. Green spotted woodpecker. Like it's laughing. A clue. Ponies was here. This is clearly where they come to shelter sometimes, but not today. They are here, I promise. All this bank here used to be completely covered in brambles. Really thick cover. And thanks to volunteers and the ponies and some of the corporate groups that used to bring out here, they pushed it all back and it's now got loads more space for wildflowers to grow. So we've got more ragwort, knapweed, betony, hemp agrimony, teasels, and looks absolutely beautiful. Another clue. Exmoor pony. Female. Still more. Not too far. That's the only clip I've been able to get of a butterfly in about an hour and a half. And that was a gatekeeper. When their wings are closed, the top half is orange and it's this little black dot, and within that are 2 white dots. Whereas I think in the meadow brown, it's only got 1 white dot. This might be one of my favourite trees. It's definitely the tree that I've spoken about the most. This is the Folly Oak. I've been told it's 400 years. Someone told me it was 700 years old. But either way, it's ancient. Oaks support more species of invertebrate and insect than any other native tree. Just as I was walking over to this one, I scared off a green woodpecker and a crow. And if you take a look at the base of the tree, you can see it's got all these little holes and tunnels. It's probably used by all sorts of creatures. Rabbits, badgers, foxes. It's got a huge crack down the middle. That's a funky tree. Another bonus about Folly Farm is that it's actually only a couple miles drive to another birding hotspot, Chew Valley Lake. And because it's been quite quiet on the bird front here at the reserve, I'm just going to pop down the lake to finish the afternoon off with maybe some ducks or swans, or maybe a heron or egret if I'm lucky. And then I think I'll call it a day. The southern end of Chew Valley Lake is actually a nature reserve called Heriot's Pool, managed by Avon Wildlife Trust. And although it's on the edge of quite a busy road, which makes filming yourself talking to a GoPro extra risky, apart from the busy road, it is a beautiful spot to come and look at birds. Guaranteed to see all sorts of ducks and geese and gulls. There's a great white egret and a heron at the far side of the lake at the moment. And there have been ospreys spotted here recently, and I've never seen an osprey, so I'm just going to hang around 5 minutes and just see if one decides to show up. You never know. So although I did pray, I could not finish the day with an osprey. Never mind. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who's watched this video. Thank you very much. If you've enjoyed this video, leave a like, let me know in the comments, consider subscribing, and let me know, have you ever visited Folly Farm? Have you ever seen an osprey? Have you subscribed to my channel yet? Why not? Let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye! 3 weeks later.